The cool breeze swept through the streets of the small town, as the evening sun began to dip beyond the horizon, casting an orange glow over the modest houses. In the heart of this town, the storm was brewing in the life of a young woman named Mpho. Mpho was 23, vibrant and full of life. She had been dating Kamo, the man of 27 years, for the past 2 years. Their love had started innocently, stolen glances, long walks, whispered promises under the stars. Everyone in the town admired them. They seemed destined for something great, like the couples in fairy tales, but reality had other plans. It was a chilly evening when Mpho sat in her tiny living room, hands trembling as she stared down at the pregnancy test. Positive. She blinked, trying to stop the tears from falling. Her thoughts were racing. How would Kamo react? Would he be happy? Fear gnawed at her as she imagined the possibilities. Kamo had always been slightly distant when it came to talks of the future. Children, marriage, these were topics he always seemed uncomfortable with. Determined to share the news, Mpho invited him over that night. When Kamo arrived, his usual warm smile was absent. He looked tired, stressed, and distracted. "What's wrong?" he asked, noticing her fidgeting. Mpho took a deep breath. "Kamo, there's something I need to tell you. I'm pregnant." Kamo's face hardened instantly. He stood frozen, his eyes wide, and Mpho could see the storm brewing in them. You're pregnant?" Kamo's voice was low, almost like a whisper. "Yes," Mpho replied, her voice shaky. "I know it's unexpected, but we can." Kamo interrupted her sharply. "It's not mine." The room went cold. Mpho's heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean it's not yours?" she stammered, not fully processing his words. "I mean, it's not my child," Kamo repeated, his tone growing harsher. "You must be mistaken, or worse, you must have been with someone else." Mpho was stunned. Her heart shattered as tears welled up in her eyes. "Kamo, how could you say that? I've only ever been with you." Kamo turned away, pacing the room with frustration, running his hands through his hair. "I'm not ready for this, Mpho. We talked about our future, and kids weren't part of the plan. I'm telling you, I can't be the father. I'm not ready." His words stung like 1,000 knives. She couldn't believe the man she loved, the man she thought she knew so well, was rejecting their child. Mpho's hands balled into fists, her voice rising. "This is your child, Kamo. You can't just deny it because it doesn't fit your plans. We made this baby together." But Kamo wasn't listening. His mind was already made up. "I need time to think," he said coldly before walking towards the door. "Don't leave," Mpho pleaded, grabbing his arm. "We need to talk about this." Kamo yanked his arm free and walked out, leaving Mpho alone, devastated and broken. Days turned into weeks, and Kamo was nowhere to be found. He avoided Mpho like a plague, refusing to answer her calls or messages. Rumors began to spread in the town, whispers about Mpho being loose and how Kamo was smart to leave her. The weight of judgment from everyone around her was unbearable. Her once bright eyes were now filled with sorrow and shame. But deep within her, a fire started to burn. She would not let Kamo or anyone else dictate her worth. One evening, after weeks of silence, Kamo returned. He stood at her door, looking exhausted. "We need to talk," he said quietly. Mpho, now visibly pregnant, let him in, but her demeanor was different. She was no longer the scared girl from weeks ago. Kamo sat down, avoiding eye contact. "I've had time to think. I'm sorry for what I said before. But I still don't think I'm ready to be a father. I don't want this responsibility." Mpho looked at him, her eyes steady. "Whether you're ready or not doesn't change the fact that you are the father, Kamo. But if you think you can just walk away from this and me, you're wrong." Kamo shifted in his seat, uncomfortable. What are you saying? I'm saying, Mpho began, her voice firm, I don't need you. My child doesn't need you. But you will not deny your responsibility. This baby is yours, and if you want to live your life pretending it's not, that's on you. But I won't let you run from this. Kamo's face twisted in frustration. I told you, I'm not ready. Mpho stood tall, her strength radiating from her like a beacon. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready, Kamo. You've made your choice, and now I'm making mine. You can live, but know this, you will always live with the regret of walking away from your own flesh and blood. Kamo stood up, clenching his fists. Fine. If that's how you want it, I'll leave. Mpho didn't flinch. She watched him go, her heart heavy but her spirit unbroken. Years passed, and Mpho raised her child on her own. She became the symbol of strength and resilience in her community. Her daughter, little Mpho, grew into a bright and beautiful child, loved by everyone. As for Kamo, his life took a different turn. He left the small town, seeking solace in the city, but no matter how far he went, he couldn't escape the guilt that gnawed at his soul. He watched Mpho and Mpho from afar, knowing deep down that he had made the biggest mistake of his life. One fateful day, Kamo returned to the town, hoping to make amends. He stood outside Mpho's door, heart pounding, as he knocked gently. When Mpho opened the door, she looked at him, her eyes calm but distant. I'm sorry, Kamo whispered, tears in his eyes. I've come to see my daughter, if you'll let me. Mpho studied him for a long moment before stepping aside. She's in the backyard. You can introduce yourself. As Kamo walked towards the backyard, his heart heavy with regret, he realized that no apology could ever undo the years of pain he had caused. But he knew one thing for sure, he would spend the rest of his life trying to earn the love of the child he once denied. Moral of the story. The story teaches us that running away from responsibility, especially when it comes to family, only leads to regret and heartache. True strength lies in facing challenges head-on, even when you feel unprepared. Denying the truth may offer temporary escape, but it leaves lasting scars that can only heal through honesty, acceptance, and accountability. At the end of the day, love, especially for one's child, has the power to mend broken relationships, but only if you're willing to confront the mistakes of the past. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.